Welcome in. It is day 95 and you're speaking with the Meeples Champion. And today, on October 13th, we are going to be speaking about another Halloween-themed game. This particular game is one that I got at PAX East, I want to say the year before we got hit by COVID. It has been a few years now. And it was a game that I've never seen in stores before. And it wasn't too expensive. I chose to get it without the upgrades. It came with all these crazy coins and all this stuff. I was like, I don't need that. I just want the basics. But it was an interesting looking game. And I figured, let's give it a try. That game was called Nocturion. Now, Nocturion is a 2 to 4 player game. It's supposed to take roughly 40 to 60 minutes. And the idea of the game is interesting because as you're moving around this board, you have loads of different possible things that you can collect. You know, you could be trying to go for your arrows or for your swords, or you could be going for your bars of gold or iron. And as you collect these, you also have different types of missions, level 1s, level 2s, level 3s. Now, you have the ability to upgrade your armor. You have the ability to try and complete these different missions which are worth points. But as you're doing stuff, you're moving around the board in a rondelle type fashion. And you're also, as you move around the board, pushing the clock. So you only can do so much before you push the clock to its end for the round. The game isn't difficult. And it seems interesting, but I've only had the opportunity all these years to play it a few times. And it's always been 2-player. And I think that's been a hindrance, because I find that me and my opponent can pretty much do the same amount of stuff, and I don't find that it's very difficult. There's not a lot of strategy to me. I do think that if we had this in a 4-player fashion, even maybe just 3-player, that this game might feel a little bit more competitive. But as a 2-player, I feel like by the end of the game, it could still be anybody's game, and that's not because we both played well. It's because the game isn't designed, at least at 2-player, to truly be that competitive. But I see the ability there in a more player game where it'd be a lot tighter. So I want to get this to 4-player at some point. It's just such a down the list game. But the theme of running around, fighting monsters, it's dark, you're in kingdoms and the woods, and you're trying to make your way through. I really like that. And I feel the theme is really strong for Halloween month. I love a lot about it. So let's jump into our 7 categories. Let's kind of go through that and discuss it and see where this really lands for us. It's a really nice art. This is a dark board, a dark cover, dark cards. Now, not everybody's into that. You know, if you were to be telling me, you know, we're talking about other games that I've had that have been on the darker side, you know. So now, if you look to my right here, we got Brass Birmingham. You may recall Brass Birmingham's a pretty dark game. And I wasn't against the art, but it wasn't a huge hit for me. I think that the idea of not dealing with a historical industrial age game and dealing instead with more of a kingdom horror or Halloween kind of feel themed game, it hits better for me here than it did there. So for me, this is a strong thumbs up. I wasn't as big of a fan there, and so it was a weaker type of thumb. This is a strong thumbs up. I really feel that the theme is encouraged and enhanced by this art. I really liked it. The components are mediocre. Again, I didn't go for the upgraded components, but I don't want to judge a game based on its upgraded components. I want to judge a game based on its basic components. I don't think you should be required to spend more money to get better components. Not to say you can't. Of course you can. Loads of Kickstarters do it. Lots of other type games have this ability to upgrade. And if you have the money and if you're interested and you like the game that much, that's awesome. But if you're just getting the base game, there needs to be a level of expectation of, well, this is the minimum we're going to be giving you for this game. I was not massively impressed by their minimum. I find that between their cards and they're basically their tokens that represent all the stuff you're collecting, the tokens are kind of small. Yes, they're cardboard, but they're a little too small for me. And I don't think they're going to wear or anything like that. It was just, I wish it was a little bit bigger. Same thing with the money. And definitely the cards, they're okay, but they're like that secondary okay. They're not the top tier. They're not horrible. They're just not top tier. So I will give them overall a thumbs up because everything seems to be good enough to be, it's not going to break, it's not going to rip, it's not going to wear from what I see. But it's a very weak thumbs up because I do think that they didn't go for the best in these, and that you could tell the quality's just okay. And it's enough to get a thumbs up because it's not going to fall apart on you. But I'm not impressed. The price in this game, now I can only judge this game from where I've seen it. This has never been in a Target, never been in a Barnes & Noble. It's not in 4 out of 5 stores. I think I've seen it once or twice on a store shelf, but like a single copy. I got it at PAX East, and when I got it at PAX East, I want to say I spent 40, maybe 50 on it. Again, this was years ago. I think for 40, it's worth the price. I think for 50, you're pushing it a little bit. It's a good game. It's just, for the average gamer, I don't think this is a game that's going to get to your table. And for $40, if the game's not getting to your table that much, I don't think I want to buy this game. You know, if this game was less, that'd be different. But it's a little bit of money for a game that may not make it to your table more than once every couple of years. So I got to give that a thumbs down. Just didn't strike for me. The difficulty is that this is not that difficult. I think that an entry-level player and a kid can play this game. I think that an experienced player can enjoy this game. I do think the experts are going to probably play it once and say what I kind of saw and say, there's not enough here. It's too easy to be competitive. You want a game to need people to really know what they're doing to truly be competing for the win. If you're playing a game and you are a heavy gamer and somebody shows up who's a casual gamer and doesn't really pay attention during the game and kind of goofs off and doesn't really try to figure out how to strategize at all, and they still somehow are like right there at the end and could win, that's a little annoying to an expert. But I think an experienced player would be okay with this. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up on the difficulty. So the replayability is interesting. For me, when I think about replayability, when I first got this game, I did play it 3 times, I want to say. It was with my sister, I believe, at PAX East, and then my wife and I played it twice at the house. So it was replayed a bunch early on. The replayability fell off because I couldn't get it to the table with 3 or 4 people, and it just wasn't fun with 2. So I do want to get this back to the table if I can and try out a 4-player game and see where that is. But for now, I have to give it a thumbs down because I got lost on that replayability because of how it played it too. The keys to victory are essentially you're going for your points here. And the best way to truly compete in the points is to go for, you have your level 1, your level 2, and your level 3 cards that you can try to collect and complete. The bigger ones are worth more points. But the likelihood is you can complete the smaller ones faster. So it's kind of up to what you're seeing. What are you collecting? What can you get done? I think there are keys to victory here, and they're a little bit open. At the same time, you got to be quick. And I think this game is all about opportunity and saying, okay, I've gotten a few things collected early, and I'm looking at the board, and I think I can complete one of these, and I need to get a snake in there now before somebody else sees it. So I think I'm going to give it the keys to victory a thumbs up. But I reserve the right to change that down the line on a maybe a second review of this one day when I've had a chance to play it at 4 and see where it really lands. As far as unique goes, I think this game is unique because the theme, the style, all of it matches up really well. It's not often that you're getting a darker themed game with a rondel type feel, with this ability to like make your armor, to upgrade yourself, to be stronger, to collect your resources, to be dealing with the clock of time of how long you can do things around this board, to be working on your different types of completing of your missions. I think all of it coming together is a unique feel. There's probably games competitive with this. It's just nothing I can think of right now. And if I can't think of something that if I want to play this, I'd want to play as a alternative, I have to give it unique because that's how I judge unique. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up there. Overall, what do I think of this game? I like this game. I think this game was worth it for $40. I think that this game would even be worth it at $50. It's a game that to me was fun specifically because it hit well for the month of October. And I don't think it has to be played in the month of October. That being said, it fails for me at 2. I tried it multiple times and I just don't feel that that's a good player count. But I'm still excited about 3 and 4. I just haven't had that chance to get it out there. I tend to play games that are a lot bigger than this with my friends. So this tends to be more of a family game for me. And at the family setup, I just haven't had a chance to do that in a long time. You know, now having had a lot of changes in my household recently, there's an opportunity for a little bit more family gaming again. So I'm hoping this game gets to have a re-return, try it again, higher player count, and see where that lands. But I do think it's worth trying. Don't go spend your money on it right now, but give it a try and see if you like it. And maybe you do like it at 2 and it just wasn't for me. Maybe you don't. But 3 and 4 player, I think you should try it at least at all those player counts once and see which one hits for you. But that's just my opinion. It's up to you guys to get out there, find this game, see if you like it, and see where it lands for you. Well, we have been talking on day 95. And we've been talking about the game Nocturion. And you've been speaking to the Meeples champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description. If you are interested in this game, I'm going to take a look and see if we can get an Amazon link up there for you. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.